Chapter 1. The Negotiation. The translator turned toward the stone gates of CCLDB, where the cold morning mist still clung to the marble pillars. The echo of approaching footsteps rolled through the vast hall. He drew a deep breath and announced, "He has arrived, at last, from afar." A quiet murmur spread among the members of CCLDB. Men and women in formal robes fixed their gaze upon the entrance. In the pale northern light, the tall and radiant figure of the guest emerged. The translator continued formally. "Honored members of CCLDB, this is Balder, beloved son of Odin. He has come to negotiate. He has come so that if any mistake has been made by either side, or if any misunderstanding has arisen, we may find a peaceful path before the flames of war are lit." A heavy silence settled over the hall. From among the assembly, a man with a stern face and piercing eyes stepped forward. His dark robe was embroidered with ancient symbols. This was Crick, the one whose influence matched the power of his magic. In a measured tone, he said, "It is an honor to speak with him. The presence of Odin's son within the hall of CCLDB is a sign of mutual respect." The translator immediately conveyed his words in the tongue of the North. Balder's calm yet penetrating gaze swept across the hall. The cold light shining through the tall windows reflected upon his bright face. A faint smile touched his lips. "Yes," he said, "that is why I have traveled so far. I did not cross such distance without reason." His eyes locked onto Crick. "Let us sit. Let us speak of our realms before fear replaces wisdom." The words were translated once more. After a few seconds of silence, Canset gestured with his hand. The long stone table at the center of the hall stood prepared, candles lit, sealed documents arranged, and a detailed map of the realms spread across its cold surface. The members took their seats one by one. Balder sat opposite Crick. The air in the hall was no longer merely cold northern air. It carried the scent of decision, of fear, of an uncertain future. And thus began the first dialogue between CCLDB and the Norse gods. Balder leaned slightly forward. "Odin was astonished, perhaps even pleased, by your defeat of Brahma, Ranginui, Nanabajo, Perun, and Ra. To be honest, he never imagined that a coalition formed from within 5 realms could overthrow the true gods of such vast lands. But," he paused, "in truth, Odin was afraid. If conflict were to erupt between CCLDB and the North, what then? If your power were ever turned toward us?" Silence deepened. "If this negotiation succeeds, we, the North, are prepared to join CCLDB as a new member." Whispers rippled across the chamber. All eyes turned to Canset, the Australian powerhouse and formal leader of the Union. Canset rose calmly. "CCLDB would be honored for these negotiations to succeed and to welcome a new ally. If the North stands with us, the balance of the world will be strengthened." The translator relayed his words. Balder smiled faintly. "Then let us take the first step of friendship. Before we speak of borders and treaties, let us drink together. A shared cup, so that trust may begin." Glances were exchanged among the members. The negotiation had only begun. But perhaps the cup raised that day would determine the fate of 5 fallen realms. After hours of discussion about the benefits of alliance for both sides, the atmosphere softened. Maps were rolled away. Cups stood half empty. Hostility faded from their eyes. Balder rose. "The North will deliver its answer. Today, the seed of peace has been planted." Canset inclined his head, formally ending the session. Soon after, Balder departed the stone hall. The massive gates closed behind him, and the cold mist swallowed his figure. The journey back to the land of ice and endless dawns was long, but his steps were firmer than before. When he entered the golden hall of Asgard, he immediately came before Odin. Odin sat upon his high throne, ravens silent at his shoulders, his single eye sharp. "Father, CCLDB is prepared to accept us. If the pact is sealed, the North will no longer live beneath doubt." For a moment, silence reigned. Odin's eye gleamed. And perhaps, in that instant, the fate of the world shifted once more. Odin descended from his throne. "Baldur, tell me what you saw in that hall. Was Kanset sincere?" Baldur drew a breath. "They are ready for peace, but—" His sentence faltered. His vision darkened. His body trembled. He collapsed. This was no weakness from negotiation. It was the toll of battle, 5 beings that had risen from the chaos of imbalance during his return. They belonged neither to the Alliance nor to the fallen gods. They were older, freed by the breaking of balance across 5 realms. One Gromver, devourer of boundaries. Gromver resembled a creature of living stone, yet the stones of his body constantly shifted, as if consuming the borders of reality itself. Wherever he stepped, the line between sky and earth blurred. Baldur fought in a place where up and down lost meaning. He was forced to create boundaries with his own light simply to stand. When Gromver died, he did not scream. He laughed. To Ilthara, Lady of the Silver Mist. She was not truly a woman, yet her voice was feminine. Her body was made of silver fog, and from it stretched thousands of unseen hands. Each hand stole a memory. For a moment, Baldur forgot why he traveled. "Peace, war, none of it matters," she whispered. "Forget." But the name of Odin awakened him. His inner light shattered the mist. 3. Cardex, the silent bone forger. Cardex was not made of bone. He created bone. Each strike against the earth summoned colossal skeletons from the soil, an army without sound. Baldur fought through countless shadows, until he realized he must strike the master, not the legion. When his blade pierced Cardex's chest, the entire army dissolved into white dust. 4. Sereth, the eyeless serpent of time. Sereth had no eyes. He moved through time, not space. His translucent body shimmered with glimpses of the future. He knew every strike before Baldur delivered it. Their battle was long. Baldur finally attacked without thought, an impulse even he did not foresee. That blow split Sereth in 2. 5 Numerath, judge of balance. The last was the quietest. Numerath stood like a tall figure of frozen dark light. In one hand he carried scales, in the other, a silent blade. 5 lords have fallen, balance is broken, one must die. Baldur understood this was no mere obstacle, it was a test. Their duel was brief but heavy. When Numerath fell, the scales shattered. And for a moment, the world trembled. Now Baldur lay unconscious in Asgard. Odin said quietly, "Then balance itself has awakened, not the Alliance, not us, something greater moves." Moments later, Baldur stirred. He opened his eyes. "Father, I have returned." "What were they?" Odin asked. "Consequences," Baldur answered. "The consequence of 5 fallen gods." He spoke the names slowly. Brahma, Ranganoi, Nanabaj, Perun, Ra. Silence returned. "And the negotiation?" Odin asked. Baldur smiled. "It went better than we expected." He continued. "CCLDB believes itself victorious. They think they have forged a new order, but they do not understand what they have done." "And what shall we do?" Odin asked. "We join them, officially, with smiles, with a pact, we step within their walls." Odin narrowed his eye. "And then?" "Then the plan begins." Baldur stepped forward, his voice strong now. "The 5 realms whose gods fell are leaderless, but their followers live. They are angry, they breathe in the shadows. We will approach them, not as enemies, not even as saviors, but as the only power capable of restoring balance." "Revenge?" a commander asked. "Revenge," Baldur said, "is too small a word." He faced Odin directly. "The betrayal of the 5 gods began from within. CCLDB merely exploited the fracture. We will turn that fracture into a canyon." Odin's ravens took flight above the hall. "So this peace is a mask?" "Yes," Baldur replied. "A necessary one. If we wage war now, the North will fall, but if we move in shadow. Odin smiled, a cold smile. You have fought not only 5 creatures, but the future itself. Baldur's voice lowered. The plan of vengeance against the 5 traitors to their original gods is already advancing. The Alliance does not yet know it, but today the seed of its downfall was planted. Outside, a cold wind swept across the towers of Asgard.